Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today I have the pleasure of Sri RVS Mani's company. As you all know, Mr. Mani was in the control room when the 26/11 was unfolding in Mumbai. And as a person who had a ringside view of what happened and then following that, what happened, he is perhaps one of the best people equipped to comment on the arrest of Tahawwur Rana by the US authorities in the United States, and he's about to be extradited to India. We're going to talk about this and also how Mr. Mani saw the involvement of Dr. Rana in the 26/11. First off, Mr. Mani, looks like under the Narendra Modi government, there has been an uptick in extraditions. This government appears to be serious.
Namaskar. Mr. Iyer, you said it where you hit the bullseye that there has been a very unprecedented increases in the strike rate in respect of extraditions. We have extradition treaties with so many other countries. We have had mostly failures, like in the Kutrochi case, the Argentina, then UK, then we had other extradition issues. Okay, extradition per se is a very ticklish thing that you have to collect the evidence according to two laws, the laws of the host country and the laws of the extraditing country. So it should be compliant with that. So that is the reason the extradition, lot of metal is involved, lot of meticulous compilation of evidence is involved in that. Indeed, and number two is integrity. Because should you have any constraint of integrity in trying to frame the person, the extradition will never take place because it cannot satisfy two laws. So for the public eye, if you are trying an extradition, take my word, it will never be successful unless and until the political integrity is there, the executive integrity is there. And that appears to be more nowadays of recently. There have been a lot of strike rates in the extradition part. They may have, please.
No, I was just, please continue. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I think accepting, Abdul Salim case in somewhere in 2010 and all, the record in the extraditions prior to 2014 has been dismal. And in fact, a sort of a laxitude attitude has come even among the public at large, that extradition, that means it will never happen, it is all a useless instrument and all that. Now that is being reversed. We have had off late recently a good strike rate in the extradition. This is a very important point to be noted. In the said context, in the context of Tahawwur Rana also, see, he had conspired with David Headley. In the case of David Headley, I don't know, whatever was the reason, the extradition was not permitted. However, due to the fact that the 26/11 victims were also included US citizens, as a laxity, they permitted the Indian agencies to interrogate or interact with the David Headley in a Chicago jail. The integrity issue comes exposed there because even in that opportunity which was vested with the government department, the then Home Ministry preferred to send National Investigation Agency, whereas Mumbai Crime Branch was investigating the 26/11 attack.
These kinds of things are normal for UPA. They never intended for the real truth to emerge from the 26/11. So they always do these kind of blanketing, put somebody else and so on and so forth. So the opposition at that time, BJP, did not seem to have pointed this out, have they?
Nobody pointed it out except I wrote on the file.
I see.
I did not write that don't send NIA. I
Hmm.
had only suggested that an officer from the Mumbai crime branch should also be a
Accompany
part
him.
of the team.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because basically the investigating officer only gets the right to record the statements of the under our own CRPC, whether the jurisdictional issues are there or not. Number two is he would have complete picture of the entire case, the investigation, the evidences which have come forth and all. So, in case of any repugnancy between the evidence available and the statement of David Headley, he could have countered him there itself. A cross examination, sort of a cross questioning. Those opportunities were lost. Three people who had joined this entire NIA on because it was created in 2009, so they could. That is their only experience. Almost with less than a year of experience, they went and interrogated whatever investigated or interacted with our David Headley in a Chicago prison. And interestingly, because they were not the investigating officers, they could not record it in the particular form in which the statements are recorded. As a consequence, they submitted a tour report to DG NIA and it went to the Union Home Minister.
Hmm.
I have written about this in my book. The Union Home Minister retained what is all is desirable for him, and I think he excised a part of it and put it on official record. With his own hand also he had written that became to NIA. DG NIA's record only says that what has been edited or excised by the Home Minister is will not be found in the report of the NIA team. So this is the status of affairs of how they would handle any criminal, any fugitive from Indian law who would leave the country and go and live in a different country. In the same vein, I have a very small issue about it. If they had been serious, if the political establishment had been serious, even at certain points of time, Dawood coming back to Indian agencies was a possibility. I'm not saying Ram Jethmalani had already confessed, but your great NCP, who later founded the NCP, was a Congress chief minister there. He did not, because the basic case about him was about because had Dawood been caught at the time or allowed to come or brought back to India, because now why we cannot try it now is it is too much of time lapse has happened and too much of developments over that has taken place that now we have already got we will not have a very legal standing either on limitation or on substance also to get him back. But this is plus we have been telling it in the political or our dialogue processes, composite dialogue about Dawood. Right. Please.
I thought Dawood is dead.
We don't know the present status, but 5 years back, 6 years back, 10 years back, whenever he was alive. See, I'm talking of the period when Sharad Pawar went to Maharashtra as chief minister on 8th or 7th March 1993.
Right.
Five days before the serial blast occurred on 13th March 1993. Do you see a pattern there?
I absolutely do. I think those who are in the know can easily connect the dots. There was something there that was totally interesting. And anyway, that's a discussion for a date, sir.
Yes, that's a full flight because we will also at that time discuss the NN Vora report original.
Yes. So let's just go back to Dr. Tahawwur Rana. This man has got his medical degree from Cadet College Hassan Abdal, which is a military residential college in Pakistan. Right. Evidently, it is here that he met Headley. And so Headley then became an ISI agent, and Rana immigrated to Canada in 1997. He got his green card in 2001. Interestingly, all his business was being carried out from Chicago, which is in the United States. For those who might be confused, how is it that a Canadian citizen is working out of Chicago? you can do that. According to the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement between Canada and US, you can conduct business in the United States and live in Canada. You don't have to be, there may be some employment restrictions as to what you can and cannot do in the US, but you can certainly conduct business from United States. The most likely these people were financed by some wing of the Pakistani army, so money was never a problem. But there is enough now background story to say that both of them, Headley and Rana, were in Chicago. So now let us skip a little bit and see. So this is 2001. That's when he became the permanent resident in Canada. So when did you first come across this name, sir?
See, during the investigations process, these names had come across David Headley and Tahawwur Rana, about how David Headley was given the mandate of opening Tahawwur Rana's immigration firm's Mumbai office. Now there's a very vital question here. Tahawwur Rana was running an immigration consultancy from Chicago.
Yes.
David Headley, as a representative of the company, comes to Mumbai, opens an office. To run a shop or an establishment or whatever office or anything like that, before we talk and get into the utility bills or anything, some sort of a government approval is needed, especially if it is the office of a foreign establishment, foreign institution. As per the law, he would have taken some clearance from either state government or government of India, wherever it is. Even a foreign company, registered company, a very reputed company doing diligent work, clean work, also has to get some clearances. How is it that these clearances were granted? Number one. Number two, David Headley had taken the name of son of a celebrated filmmaker who helped him do the recce of Taj and all that. These are all certain facts which maybe Chidambaram would know better because he had read this, which he deleted, so he will remember better than me. But this is a fact. So this again is an issue which got obfuscated in the political and manipulating processes which happened. And now Rahul the Bhatt is a free man. Now, similarly, we do not know what all David Headley had told the NIA team, which they might not even put in the report. And now Tahawwur Rana may also spill more beans about this. Because on 26/11, let it be saying that Chidambaram had also said that, as I said, all intercepts have been shared like a lie. Ajmal Kasab confessed to an Indian hand. This is also mentioned in a reply to a parliament question, which is the most authentic document. And the investigators did not proceed because there was a pressure on them. Let us be very honest about that. A lot of backseat driving was happening in the investigation to know whether Tahawwur Rana will reveal certain more uncomfortable facts for the people who had conspired with other or whether the investigation will be reopened. Now, Tahawwur Rana was already serving a sentence in Chicago jail for the same murder of people. But here, if he comes to India, he has multiple liabilities, including participation in a terror attack, UAPA stringent 16-17 provisions will be applied, funding a terror attack 21-40, then holding money for that, plus money laundering, because all this money which he was showing on the balance sheet of his company arising from the relating to the Mumbai office were all basically invested in conducting the terror attack. In addition, David Headley, as a company representative, had also gone from Mumbai to Amsterdam, Denmark, or somewhere in this one of the Scandinavian countries as a representative of the company to get the wherewithals or whatever it is, whatever, because since the company was a decoy company, not doing any immigration work, but purely doing only planning, execution of the ISI agenda. So there are so many other charges he will have to face besides the charge of terrorism. So I hope it is taken to the logical. He would also spill the beans is more sensational for the public at large. Like Rahul Bhatt's name coming out, we don't know how many other names are going to come out. These are all very, very interesting developments in the case. That's what I wanted to say, share.
One thing that is striking about India and Indian society is very forgiving. I mean, it's been known for a long time that this Mahesh Bhatt, Rahul Bhatt, this family has been known to be doing things that probably would not pass muster, and yet, the outrage comes up for a few days and then it dies down. The families go back to acting, people go back to watching their movies. Somewhere you have to make a moral stand, isn't it? Why is it that the Indian public is so forgiving, sir? I think the forgiveness is reaching all time high proportions.
I can't comment on that, but certainly lot of lobbying happens. See, basically, let us connect the dots. In December 2010, although it is in my personal knowledge that the book was ready in 2008 itself, December also, but Chidambaram had suggested to defer its release because Ajmal Kasab got caught and my kidnapping, the attempt to kidnap me also got aborted or failed or whatever it is by Providence. Otherwise, they would have already released the book in 2008, December or 9 or whatever it is. But most importantly, even after that, I distinctly remember a letter was written by our friend Mahesh Bhatt to P. Chidambaram seeking his interventions, on which, when the paper traveled down to me on my desk, I had only suggested that in case he wants to deny any attribution of charge to him, he may be advised to consult a lawyer and go and make a suo motu statement before a judicial magistrate, whatever truth he knows, whatever he wants to say in the matter. That paper went up to joint secretary level and thereafter it went missing. And that is a very, very right kind of approach. But Mahesh Bhatt preferred to go through the network route rather than, because we don't know, he would have been on affirmation, what level of truth he would have been forced to share. Maybe it could have led to a cross examination later. So many pregnant issues were there. I think somebody must have advised him, or he lobbied with the Honorable P. Chidambaram to extricate his son's name from the entire process of law. This is very dangerous. So whether forgiving or not, why do basically there is a trend that if a big man's child is caught, immediately the police officer will be put a lot of pressure and he will be asked to take a soft turn. Minister will speak, the deputy commissioner will receive around 1,000 phone calls. Why do we do this? Why don't we leave the investigation to the policeman? 60 to 70% of the corruption will go down. We had also discussed about why Delhi police is afraid of taking action against Muslims on this very same channel.
Yes.
You allow the policeman to take action against Muslim, any delinquent, irrespective of the caste, creed, or religion, and ensure that no person calls up the deputy commissioner of police or superintendent of police and turn it into a political issue. I think the malaise of police refraining from taking action against Muslims in general would stop to a great extent. And we would not be having this Tablighi Jamaat or Markaz conducting their ijtama within 500 meters of the police station's presence. Or we would not have a Shaheen Bagh or a Zafrabad where this type of a huge Molotov
Cocktails. Right.
cocktails were all stored. We would have the people would have been apprehended long time back. But this is the reason that there should be a restraining, that police officer will allowed to do their work. I filed a complaint against a person who has an allegiance to the Congress party, the Congress party, and he could manage with that. The police officer comes in and tells me that please close the report. I said, you give me in writing that I should close the report, I will do it. Today, Captain Colonel Raghavendra Singh Rathod, RVS Rathod, has incidentally tweeted about this. One martyr's father had said that the martyrs are fighting for the country and not for the parties. This was forwarded by Honorable Union Home Minister to INC, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Immediately, I am told that he lives in the martyr is from Rajasthan, which is ruled by a Congress government, and now there is enormous pressure on the father, old man, a very old man, to withdraw or issue another statement praising Rahul Gandhi. This is happening. RVS Rathod has tweeted on this. Why do we do this? And this Freedom of Expression Brigade will never talk on this. Whether Shekhar Gupta or Rajdeep Sardar, none of them will talk on this.
Well,
when a policeman, somebody is intervening a policeman, we should stop it.
yes. And it's now high time, because the police is already understaffed and they are working under tremendous pressure. You already have the COVID enforcement also that's being done. And, this is needless pressure. And let's accept it. Rahul Gandhi needs to show some effort on the ground, making statements, making speeches, trying to paint BJP as worse than they are. Is not going to make him prime minister. He needs to get his hands and legs dirty. Go to your constituency. What is this place called? Wayanad. Do you know where that is on the map? Perhaps it might help him to go and find out where is Wayanad, what are the adjoining districts, what is the population composition there, what is the ideology of that population, what is it that they want more than anything else. Then he can decide whether he wants to be Prime Minister of India, or I leave it to the viewers to decide what else can he be. This is a place that is very dangerous, in my opinion. It is worse than Kashmir. The Malappuram area in Kerala is worse than Kashmir. A lot of stuff is going on that needs to be investigated, is not being investigated. And at any rate, it's good that some national figure is now in that vicinity. Wayanad is an adjoining district, but at least Rahul Gandhi could educate himself with what is going on in the local area of what the politics. Sir, thank you very much. So
thank you very much.
Tahawwur Rana
I want to make a small
please,
submission.
Please.
When you spoke about Malappuram, Wayanad and all.
Yes.
Does Rahul Gandhi know the basic composition that he will find grandmothers in their 30s in those areas? Does he know that?
No, that's why I'm saying, go and
do you believe it? I know it. It's a fact. You will find 30-year-old grandmothers. It's a very unfortunate thing, but it's a truth.
Well, isn't there a saying that a famous Islamic leader said that the world will be conquered by Islam through the womb of the Muslim woman? Remember this statement? And I think that's what you are alluding to. If a grandmother can be 30 years of age, then clearly you have at least two reproductive people in the family, and the population just explodes. And for them, affordability is not a problem. Fake currency is there in abundance. Nobody has even checked properly. And like everything else, understaffing on NIA, there are lots of secrets that can be unearthed, and perhaps Rahul Gandhi can make this his calling, find out all the different things that are happening in his constituency and around his constituency. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mani. And, and,
Thanks.
and we started somewhere, we have ended somewhere, but it's all interesting and information that's very useful. Namaskar.
Namaskar.